Welcome back, trainers, to round 2 of the in-house Antimatter Pokemon Go tournament. I'm Mr. Dr. Pants, and with me today I have the one and only Sosaflow.
How's it going, everybody? Excited to be here for round 2.
First up, we have a couple rounds for you today. We're going to be following the winner side bracket, which means currently all of the trainers we're going to be seeing today are up 1-0 in the tournament. And up first, we have Season 4 Sylph World Champion Vroom Vroom Pow versus well-known streamer, the 6'4 Ninja.
I'm actually really excited to see this matchup here. You know what you're getting with a world champion battler. You're gonna get energy preservation. You're gonna get incredible plays. You're gonna get counting on switch clock. With the 6'4 Ninja, you're gonna get different kind of manipulation, whether it's gonna be debuffing or power up boosting, as we saw him take on with his locals. He really liked that Poliwrath. This is pre-Scald buff, so this is not a Scald boosted Poliwrath. I believe he's got the power up punch in the Ice Punch right now, but this is
dynamic punch,
pre-timeless.
Ice Punch.
Yeah, this is pre-timeless Travelers, but he is so good with that power up punch and those buffs that with these two battlers, I'm so I got my popcorn ready, man. I am so excited. It's gonna be great.
And on that note, let's just get right on into the battles. And here we have it. On the left side, we have Vroom Vroom Pow, and on the right, the 6'4 Ninja. Looking at that, we're gonna have to see what moveset this Clodsire has here, but a terrible lead here for Ninja's side, getting that Dragonair into the ice type Alolan Sandslash, but switching to get this Icy Wind off on the Superior.
Now that Clodsire is rocking that Earthquake Sludge Bomb, so you don't have to worry about that Stone Edge, which is really nice for the 6'4 Ninjas, a lot of his team. That's why he felt comfortable bringing out the Dugong and the Dragonair. As a Frenzy Plant, though, would have been real oppressive to that sub-water typing Ice Pokemon, as those Ice Shards keep chunking away, and one more Icy Wind just to throw the energy to not get another Frenzy Plant thrown at him. Oh, it snuck through, but it wasn't enough health, as 3 HP and some energy is gonna take that Dugong down to the red.
But even with all those debuffs, Frenzy Plant still hits like a truck, but throwing another Icy Wind to debuff here and calling the correct bait here on that Shadow A-Slash, immediately switching into Mantine to get that snipe on that last hit there. But now Mantine is locked into Dragonair, and Ninja has the potential Medicham locked onto Alolan Sandslash in the back.
Yeah, I do like this option here that Ninja's got. He's got the lineup real perfectly. He hasn't exposed all 3 Pokemon, and Vroom Vroom might be in a situation here now that he brought out that Mantine and exposed that 3rd Pokemon, as in Ice Beam might take out this Dragonair, and here comes the Medi. But you know what? One Aerial Ace is still not going to be enough to take out this very thick XL Pokemon, who is now fallen off the face of the earth in this Timeless Travelers meta. Oh, it makes the catch! Oh my goodness, Vroom Vroom Pow! So sneaky! And Ice Punch won't do it, and with the energy left on the Alolan Slash, it's gonna get that Drill Run off, Dr. Pants.
Well, with all that alignment there, the alignment that Vroom Vroom Pow had, or rather that Ninja had there, but just being able to pull off not getting stuck at the end there with that Alolan Sandslash. You know, everyone's always like, why are you running A-Slash? It's just dies to a single counter user. But as we see here, that energy management can beat out the alignment there if you have the right proper play style here.
The healthiness of that Mantine was so necessary to run that clock down, because if you look, 6'4 Ninja had the timer in that last game. We'll have to see how he adjusts, though, as it's going to be Dugong into Umbreon again, coming back with that tanky tankness. Loving it here. It is beautiful to see these neutral Pokemon throwing off what is going to be a foul play. Going to do about a good 25% damage of that Dugong.
Yeah, but charging up here to get as many Icy Winds off, not throwing right away just in case of a potential switch, possibly Drill Run being better here. But seeing the Umbreon come out against a team with 2 counter users is pretty risky, but also maybe it's a very good call here. Getting it lined up into something like the Dugong, or potentially even just out-tanking the Dragonair. Like just getting lucky not to get it into Medicham or Poliwrath here.
Absolutely, but you know, it keeps debuffing these foul plays. It's like they weren't doing enough damage to begin with. Now they're barely hitting like a counter. Like, oh my goodness. These foul plays are just so debuffed now that Dugong might actually get away with a W here. I don't think this is going to take out the Dugong at all. And it's really smart that Umbreon came out too, because like you said, 2 counter users, there are no counter users on 6'4 Ninja side this time.
That last resort left Dugong at about 1 HP in a dream there. Dugong being able to take switch, but shields are still even. It's still 2-2 shields. And this is not a great position. We've seen the Ice Beam and open team sheets. So we know the Ice Beam here on the Mantine and having the option of either Dragonair or that fire type Alolan Marowak. So not great options, but getting Alolan Marowak locked into Medicham is going to be really good here for Ninja.
Don't forget, this Alolan Marowak is rocking that Fire Blast. So if Medicham isn't going to shield this, that Fire Blast is going to plow through that Medi. We'll have to see if the Ice Punch is going to do any sort of damage. No, building up to 2 Shadow Bones, and he's going to go for it. This is good. Going to force those shields or not at all. A Shadow Bone is going to take out the Medicham, and you know what? This might actually be good because the Shadow Bone's not going to do that much damage, and neither is the Fire Blast of this Water-type Pokemon. Giving up the first shield, and oh no! Dr. Pits, there's the debuff! That's not what you want!
The defense fall forcing the energy out of the Mantine here and taking the opportunity, throwing the switch clocks back up, throwing another Shadow Bone. This gets the last shield, I believe. Immediate swap to Dragonair into Body Slam, and with the debuff, let's see if this is enough damage to KO. It is Shadow, and there is a debuff, and it's at 1 HP, but Dragon Breath always prevails. 1 turn moves prevailing over that charge move coming up. And wow, those debuffs, this whole team, you have a Dugong with Icy Wind, you have the Shadow Bone, Alolan Marowak, and then you have Shadow Dragonair sitting there to just do all of the neutral damage against everything once those debuffs go through.
Debuffer! The 6'4 Ninja! Oh my goodness! His entire team's got a bunch of buffs on it and debuff opportunities, and when he does, he can manipulate wins into his favor. But he's got to look out as the lead of Poliwrath is immediately taken out from that Mantine, and Mantine has no problem going up against this Dragonair, especially with both attacks and doing the damage on this Shadow Pokemon.
But the right call there, calling that it's not going to be straight into the Ice Beam. That probably would have just about one-shot. But throwing the Aerial Ace, dipping, Dragonair gets a good amount of damage off on the Medicham before it goes down here. And we'll see. Probably, I would assume Poliwrath is coming back. You know, you have that Dugong looks a lot better there, matching up against the Mantine again in the back. But down a whole Pokemon, Dynamic Punch goes through. That's a lot of damage. So I bet we're going to have to start seeing a lot of shields coming out here.
Dugong looking really good. If the shield would be given by Vroom Vroom Pow here, that would have been put it in a better position because there's a Clodsire in the back for Vroom Vroom there. And that Dugong is out now and Vroom Vroom's exhaling as all 3 Pokemon have been exposed from the 6'4 Ninja. As another Icy Wind's gonna debuff from the buffer.
And shielding the Icy Wind too. I mean, yeah, there haven't been a lot of shields used yet. You got to start shielding something, but shielding the Icy Wind here, I guess it is probably just about the only thing. A little surprised we're not seeing the shield saved for the Clodsire here, as we do see that, you know, it's a Mantine versus a Dugong, and Dugong having all those Icy Winds and stuff. Not looking good for the Clodsire if shields are down here, but doesn't have the Stone Edge. This is the Sludge Bomb Clodsire. However, that Mantine or that Dugong is low enough that Sludge Bomb or Earthquake, any move should just about kill here, even through a debuff.
Even through a debuff. And look, Poliwrath isn't healthy either. He's gonna get the shield. I would have said bait, but this is a great play here because the Clodsire still has a shield and can get that energy, but you gotta be paying attention to that clock as Poliwrath is coming right out immediately. Do you throw the Sludge Bomb? You've got to. You gotta get rid of the energy. That is great from the 6'4 Ninja. Getting all of this energy off the Clodsire isn't gonna put the Dugong in the right position. It's a Sludge Bomb from the Clodsire on the Dugong action.
Oh, and just being careful with all those debuffs. You saw that little tap at the end just on the Mantine, just in case the debuff wasn't enough and you need to get that 2-turn wing attack in before the Mantine's Ice Shard goes off there. So great plays all around.
Exactly what we said. We had energy preservation. It won Vroom Pow game 1 with that Alolan Sand Slash. Even when it was married up against the Medicham, that Mantine's health shone throughout the entire time, and it really gave us, it set itself precedent there in game 1. In game 2 though, we saw a lot of great plays, but the debuffer, man, 6'4 Ninja, we're just gonna call him the buffer because that's all he does is debuff your Pokemon. But he got it real well with the debuff off of that. Oh my goodness, what was it that debuffed that doesn't usually proc? He got the proc off of Shadow Bone. The Shadow Bone debuff proc there, and got the win at the end. And then in game 3, an unfortunate matching of Mantine showing its dominance against the Poliwrath, and we saw some just great play there with that Dragonair, but it wasn't enough as all the energy from Vroom was there to let go. That Clodsire was just so tanky, so much fun.
Yeah, the Clodsire coming out game 3, even though with like having already seen Dewgong is going to be in every match, Poliwrath is not afraid to come out and still not being afraid, bringing the Clodsire, and it ended up pulling out a win there, choosing that over the Umbreon, and yeah, it worked out for him in the end. So I am happy with that. I'm happy with those battles
too. Are we going to see the next setup? Let's go set it up.
I sure hope so.
Jumping right into match 2, it is EV2E versus Ilex Forest, as it's the superior in the Defense Deoxys. You know what, Dr. Pants, I haven't seen a superior in a minute in this new Timeless Travelers, as this is now taking up bench, but never forget how hard Frenzy Plants hit, especially on this Umbreon.
Oh yeah, Frenzy Plant, if you remember back to, I think it was like Sylph Season 2, just about, Frenzy Plant was probably the biggest counter to Umbreon. You'd always have like Umbreon metas, but then Venusaur would be there to throw the Frenzy Plant. So now with Superior being even more bulky than the Venusaur, just being able to store up energy, take some of that energy away from the Umbreon, soak up that damage, and then switch into the Charizard here.
Yeah, I like the play. It's a smart play. EV2E knows what he's doing on these Umbreons. He definitely likes playing Umbreon, so he knows what Pokemon can take and what they don't. While Ilex here is shining really well, getting that shield now is in a shield advantage. We'll have to see if he's going to come back with the DD, because that Defense Deoxys, I believe, is rocking Thunderbolt here.
Yeah, and so Charizard with all of this energy. Blast Burn, even though it's Defense Deoxys, Blast Burn still hurts. So we get both shields there.
Wow.
Coming out for the Deoxys, and I bet the Charizard goes down here.
Absolutely. Oh, a Psycho Boost and a shield, but it's not enough time as another Psycho Boost come out. I kind of like this play from Eevee to force all of the energy off that Defense Deoxys now, as it is forced to leave, and now it's this Clodsire onto this Registeel. You know what? I'm so happy Clodsire's here, because it's going to put these Registeels to shame, man. I'm so excited. Dr. Pitt, look at that. Look at that Focus Blast. Did nothing.
And Clodsire sitting there with that face like he does not care. See, this is the matchup when Clodsire was first announced that everyone was hyped for, is let's finally get something that kicks Registeel to the curb like the garbage can he is. And Clodsire just pounding out Earthquakes. Still has all of this HP left. The Psycho Boost from Defense Deoxys is super effective, but it's going to probably take about 2 to kill here. Clodsire being so tanky.
Yeah, only going to do about 30% of Clodsire's health, and there's about 50 left. So with that last 10, he's going to hit this Earthquake. Remember, this is not an attack-weighted Pokemon, and that's a heavy defense Pokemon, but you got to bring the Superior in and throw that Wombo combo move for another Frenzy Plant to take down the Defense Deoxys.
I like Eevee's team comp there of the, Charizard being the super hyper aggressive, like glass cannon kind of Pokemon, and then the 2 super tanky Superior and Clodsire that still have damaging options and still like threaten some damage, but they're really just there to soak up all the energy. And Charizard did its job. It got all of the shields from the opposing team, and that opened the door for Clodsire to just walk right on in uninvited.
right on in. And I like the play of keeping Superior in there to do the damage on Umbreon, so that way when Umbreon came back, it wasn't this healthy Pokemon. As this is a terrible lead for EV2E, but a great one for Ilex. And Swampert now leaves for a Charizard, and they've swapped. Oh my goodness, how tough is that? You get the Superior onto the Charizard. Airlay still won't even take Charizard to half the health.
Yeah, I mean, at least it's neutral damage. At least we're getting neutral damage with the Charizard, with potentially being able to just let this go and farm up a whole bunch. We could see the move comes out. There could be a couple plays here, but move comes out, so we have to see how much energy the Charizard still has left, because you got to throw, you're preferably trying to throw Blast Burn, actually, even though it's resisted at the opposing Charizard.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that is the Dragon Claw there indeed, as the Swampert comes back. Now, this is not a Shadow Swampert, where we learned last season in the 2023 Play Pokemon season that a Charizard with a Dragon Claw and some Wing Down could take out a Shadow Swampert. But this is the normal Swampert with all of the health, the proper stats of health, and not and defense as well. So this damage isn't going to do much. A Blast Burn is still going to hurt, but that Swampert's going to walk away healthy, as a Hydro Cannon is going to take out this Charizard now.
Now, we do get to see the Swampert Mirror matchup here, but waiting to see what the switch is. It is not the Whimsicott, not a Grass type here, so that one shield closer here with the Swampert not looking too bad. Do have to be careful to not get outpaced by the opposing Swampert. You don't also want to take a Psycho Boost here from Deoxys, so we might see a shield. We might see if it's just gonna barely hang on, because again, not Shadow, and that is just enough HP here. We do have to get to one more Hydro Cannon for Eevee to win this game here.
A great recognition of energy, knowing that the Psycho Boost he can take and that the Hydro Cannon was ready on the Swampert. So he takes the he takes the Deoxys Hydro Cannon, and then he gets a little extra farm for 2 more taps, putting up the shield for the opponent's Hydro Cannon, and he's not behind at all. Gets to his and takes out the opponent's Swampert. Great play there and recognition right in that moment. Great job by Ilex too. Had the matchup, built it so well for a rock, paper, scissors. You thought it was going to be grass in the back, and it wasn't. It was defense Deoxys. So if that Clodsire was there, it was going to be in a lot of trouble, but it wasn't the Clodsire. It was met by the Swampert. And now Clodsire is going to meet the Swampert in the leads, Dr. Pants.
Oh, man.
This is crazy.
This is not what the Clodsire wants to see. It is tanky enough that you don't have to, immediately switch out, right?
Right.
It doesn't want to take this damage, but if it absolutely needs to, it can. And we've seen that alignment has been relatively important in this match. So sort of preparing for that, and still ends up getting the drawn out the Charizard here with the Superior. You gotta wonder, maybe Elix this match, even though his grass type Whimsicott doesn't look great against Eevee's team, perhaps it's hiding in the back just for that Swampert.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's another Swampert in the back there. I don't know. He brought that defense Deoxys. We'll have to find out what Eevee calls, as the Charizard now is going to have to deal with some Stone Edge action, or going to lose some of that energy. Eevee making the right count, and it is the Dragon Claw, so he'll get to that Stone Edge and now maybe even take a shield advantage. Swampert with 2 shields, or Charizard with 2 shields, going to be deadly on most of that team. Even with all this energy, he could just wing attack this Charizard down and have Blast Burns ready to go, my friend.
Yeah, we're gonna see. He could potentially try and throw but he doesn't, just to dissuade perhaps the Charizard from throwing this last move, but he lets it go. Dragon Claw goes through. It is 1 shield to 1 shield. Eevee's Pokemon are just about dead, and it is that defense Deoxys. We have to land quite a few Blast Burns here. Luckily, the counters do not add up that quickly because they're resisted, but we're going to need to get to, I would think, maybe 2 Dragon Claws at least here, plus the wing attacks on top. This is going to come close.
This is really interesting. Very great try to catch, and it doesn't. He stayed cool and collective, and now he throws the Dragon Claw. Now he's got the energy. Can he make the catch on his own? No. Oh, no, and it's Clodsire with 1 health. Oh, so close,
That was
Eevee.
so close.
Ilex
move
gets
away.
one out of it, though. Well done. Ilex coming in with the defense Deoxys in the back again for that Clodsire. EV2E thought he put away that defense Deoxys in game 2, and Ilex was like, nah, not getting tricked by this one. That Charizard Clodsire combo that you bring in, I'm here for it. I recognize how good it is, and my defense Deoxys is still gonna play hard. That was a good matchup. That was a really good matchup.
I liked Eevee's ability to use not only actually the Clodsire, but surprisingly using the Superior to like create that sort of RPS triangle with a fire and grass type, but then using Superior as the safe swap to like kind of force the opponent to play into it, and then having Clodsire as that neutral backup. To close out games. I think it worked really well. Unfortunately, got caught with, I think it was one wing attack on the Charizard away from being able to throw the back-to-back Dragon Claws that could have won the game. So came down to one wing attack. So good battles all around. Well done, trainers.
Absolutely. That's now 2 for Eevee, and he joins Vroom Vroom. Now they both have 2 going into round 3, and we're gonna see our next matchup here at the Antimatter in-house tournament.
Trainers, this is the battle that you didn't even know you were waiting for. This is the battle of the Spice Lords. We have Zion here with the Cloyster versus Necro's Suicune, which I don't think I've seen a Suicune since Ferocious Cup, everyone's favorite Sylph Cup back in Season 2.
Oh my God! Stop it! Stop it immediately! Suicune was. I built the Suicune for Ferocious Cup, and let me tell you, I love Suicune with Snarl, Ice Beam, and Hydro Pump. Like Suicune was so good. Now, again, this is before Timeless Traveler, so it does not have all the new gimmicks that it got in the last buff of this meta. But with Ice Beam and Hydro Pump, it's a great moveset, and now those are locked and loaded for Necrotic in the back as Cloyster here throwing off Liquidation and just taking Incinerates, man. Oh my goodness, who expected Cloyster to come out?
Oh man, I mean Cloyster, it's like you could call it I guess the discount Dewgong. Does similar things, but doesn't, instead of Drill Run, it runs that Liquidation. Doesn't have, I don't think it has Drill Run. I feel like it could. It's got that big horn on its head, but
no, it was not given Drill Run by the Drill Run movesets.
But Brave Bird landing, Talonflame having that, you know, 1-to-1 shields, it becomes really like, do I need to shield? Do I need to try and save it? So Talonflame having like one of the most shield pressure Pokemon in the game, in my opinion, you know, that attack stat plus Brave Bird is kind of insane. So good call from Zion to throw the Brave Bird and dip. And here's Ladian throwing the Dynamic Punch, only neutral against the Muck, but the Acid Spray coming off here. Let's see if it gets shield.
Oh my goodness, and you know what, it's not gonna get a shield because the only reason Acid Spray would work is if someone didn't know you had Acid Spray. So that's why that wasn't gonna work, but it's unknown that they've got Acid Spray. As Ice Beam comes through, gonna need an extra Snarl, as an Incinerate did sneak through. So can he get to the Ice Beam again? He can! Oh, so good with the energy on Suicune, holding it down, and the Ice Beam takes the Talonflame out. Oh my goodness.
Suicune coming in clutch there at the end. You know, Talonflame did put a lot of pressure, but it does, that 5-turn move does kind of put you in a very clunky spot. You know, you're sort of stuck, like once you tap, you're there for, I think it's what, like 2.5 seconds?
Yeah.
That's a long move.
That's a long move indeed. Not to mention too, like you lose turns in that move access as well. It's it's real difficult. But we'll see if Necrotic's gonna bring out Spritzy, if he's gonna keep bringing the same 3, because that Ledian did really good. And here comes the Weevil. Sorry, Sneasel, Weasel. But oh, is this a catch? Is this? Oh my goodness, that's a catch.
A catch on the Avalanche onto the Resisted. That's still a lot of damage considering it's resisted. Weavile's attack stat is kind of insane. Weavile doesn't take but a return catch from Zion on his water and ice type Pokemon. This Ice Beam does a significant less damage than that Avalanche from the Weavile. But both Pokemon here just throwing absolutely resisted damage at each other. And once this, I believe this is Icy Wind goes off, it'll have even less damage here from the Suicune.
Yo, these two TOs of Flash for Everyone server know each other so well. They're just like, oh, you're gonna hit me with the catch? Mind if I return the favor? But the Suicune builds up again, beating out this Ice Shard, and there comes and now a wombo combo Ledian onto this. Oh, going for the aerialist. Is it enough? That's crazy. It's crazy. That was enough? Oh my goodness.
Oh man, yeah, the wombo combo there, really good call, because Zion trying to build up all that energy for those icy winds to be able to like make the first shield there worthwhile. But then Ladian Switch Timer coming right up just in time for Ladian to trade into it. Weavile, we see the tapping on the Talonflame, trying to get Weavile out of there. Don't need to hand off any extra energy. Oh, but we actually get an entirely free Incinerate there. Now that is actually pretty big. We talked about those clunky 5-turn moves, but if it's like during if it's a sneak move, or if it's something to knock out a Pokemon, those 5 turns are basically free. So that's really good here for Talonflame, and a great call on the Dragon Claw. This isn't going to knock it out. We need one more Dragon Claw from the Mew, but the Charge Flame or Flame Charge coming out to try and match here, and plus the next Incinerate. Let's see if this is enough to kill.
Look, Talonflame by Zion is being shown so well. Pre-fly boost, pre-incinerate boost. Like, this is insane. But the claw gets through. Oh,
it's down
my
to Snarl.
goodness. Can it Snarl down?
Yes! Shadow Claw!
How did Snarl beat Shadow Claw? Oh, there was enough health. There was plenty of health left on the Weevil. Man, that's...
Yeah, woo! If that was any other fast move other than a ghost type fast move, that would have killed.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
Pretty much anything. Yeah, Snarl being 3 turns. Yeah.
That was insane. Great job by the Talonflame there. Again, closing it out. Zion not giving up on his Pokemon, showing that he still loves playing with this Talonflame. And I'm sure he's real happy with this Timeless Traveler's boost, as now Talonflame is back on the field here in the back as the Oranguru meets this lovely little Leo. But Litleo's got something special.
It has Crunch, and because it is open team sheets, in case viewers at home, if you didn't know Litleo's moveset, I don't blame you. You probably haven't seen it unless you played in, there's one Sylph Cup that had Litleo
when it first came out in
Frostlass.
2020. It was awesome. I built one. It was my first XL. Such a great Pokemon.
Oh yeah, it was the biggest Frostlass counter outside of Crawdon. But the confusion's adding up and switching into to try and get some ice shards off, and the Incinerate once again. We keep seeing this Incinerate show up on both sides. That's like slowing everybody down, and it's a tough move to work around. You know, you really have to gauge so many different things with timings on Incinerate. But Mew coming out does have shield advantage on Mew's side, so this Grass Knot should kill here.
It is 1-1, so these battlers are playing to win, to go 2-0 in the 3rd round. As you see, there is so much tapping on that Nidorino. We haven't seen it come out at all. Look at that, catches the foul play. But yo, you just brought us poison out to a confusion user. What are you doing? Maybe you know something we don't, as you're gonna get the sludge bomb's gonna go off. There is no shield. This will take out the Oranguru, that normal typing. And the last Pokemon is, surprise, surprise, that Talonflame, as the sludge bomb not in time. The Talonflame's Incinerate finally does something, but can the Mew pull it out again, Mr. Dr. Pants?
We are off to the races. I don't think one Dragon Claw is going to be enough here. We're going to find out. He's going to go for it. I believe there is a Flame Charge coming right after. If this doesn't kill and it's not enough, there is the Flame Charge, and this Mew is being sent to the Shadow Realm.
Oh no, not the Shadow Realm, Mew! Shiny Mew!
Everyone's favorite, the shiny Mew. Everyone got that first Mew, and before PvP came out, they're like, oh, I got Mew. Everyone powers it up. PvP comes out. Sylph comes out.
No one touches it. I'm so glad I didn't boost my Mew. I was like, I'm not touching this thing. I don't know why. I don't want to waste my rare candies. I'm not person to go and grind resources. So but yeah, I have my shiny Mew, my regular Mew, both PvP eligible, but not as good as Necrotic, as he showed us here how to really handle that Mew. And I looked at his Mew set too, and I was like, with this team, you're not gonna bring out like Wild Charge at all or anything? didn't need it. His Mew did so good. But yo, I mean, hats off to this, again, pre-timeless travel boost Talonflame play by Zion there. That's some good execution on that Incinerate.
Yeah, I think the call for Grass Knot, I feel like is very aimed at, again, pre-timeless travels. So this is the Lantern meta. This was huge Lantern meta. So I feel like the Grass Knot over the Flame Charge or Wild Charge is probably the target for that Mew there. And considering he has a couple other Pokemon that don't do super well into Lantern, the Suicune especially being one of them, so I think the Grass Knot on the Mew is a good call. However, again, it's open team sheets now, so some of those sneaky Pokemon that can get you some cheeky wins with either an Acid Spray or a Moveset no longer become as good as we're seeing just recently. Metacham immediately falling off just when movesets come out. It goes down a little bit because then you know if you have Dynamic Punch or Psychic Punch, then Umbreon gets better. And then Lickitung gets better too if you're trying to show, okay, I have Psychic. And then now Psychic is super nerfed, so Metacham's just all over the place. It's just like, yeah, okay, go over there now. But yeah.
Yeah, a great representation of how to handle a meta and how to handle a Pokemon and stick with it here by both battlers too. Even against the Oranguru, we saw the Nidorino come out very bravely too at the end. So great job by both of these Flash TOs. That was a real fun matchup, but that's going to be just one win for Necrotic Fate as he's going to go into round 3 as a 1-1. And we're going to now check out the next matchup of one of our top round battles.
In our next battle here, we have Sosaflo himself versus Hippopotamus.
All right, now I don't have a Spice Tea to play against, so I'm like, okay, now to really shine. But then, of course, it's a Low Bunny. I'm like, oh my god, what does Low Bunny have? Now, Low Bunny actually has access to Fire Punch, and it's been given a lot of move updates. With the double kick here, Frostlass, I'm checking. As you can see, like, what does this Pokemon have? Is it a Fire Punch? No, not Fire Punch. Great, I don't have to shield anything, as Triple Axle won't do the damage, and neither will that Focus Blast. So I go for the Avalanche here, and we're gonna get that shield from that Low Bunny. Now, these Spice Pokemon.
Frostlass being able to pick up some shields here and get out with energy and enough health to get even more damage off and to get more avalanches. This is a pretty deadly spot here, especially with a Metacham and a Lurantis in the back. Might have needed to double shield that Low Bunny to get out of this one, because this is either going to just about one-shot or demand a shield here.
And that line is an ABB line, really weak to Frostlass. Like, you absolutely right, needs to double shield that. But the Metacham's gonna start throwing these ice punches and gonna get the Lurantis to get the Shadow Ball. Oh, that's gonna be big, but it still does a chunk load of damage. And now Lickitung is on the field as this thick Pokemon's gonna take the superpower. Know what's coming. We saw what the Pokemon were holding, and now it's super weak to Lick, as now Lickitung's loaded with energy as a Power Whip's gonna come through and put this Metacham into the deep yellow.
Now this Metacham is going to be able to farm up quite a lot of energy on the Lickitung, but goes for the Ice Punch instead. You have not seen the third Pokemon, so keeping the HP high might be the play here, but unfortunately that Vine Whip just outpaces here for the Aerial Ace, and I believe that is GG for game 1.
Yeah, that was a real tough call. That Low Bunny, real scary, real fun Pokemon. Double kick, it's got Focus Blast, right? So it can nuke those rock Pokemon. It's definitely there for the Carbink, for the Lickitung, for the Umbreon. Like, I know why it's here to play. But on top of that, Frostlass, if it doesn't have the Fire Punch that, you know, Low Bunny has, and that information is exposed, then Low Bunny Frostlass is not a good matchup for it.
Yeah, I'm expecting we see Carbink here in the next game, as that's definitely the best. And there it is! It is the best Frostlass answer. See the immediate swap to Lickitung. Carbink not terrible into Lickitung either, but bringing this Lurantis in to start threatening with these superpowers. As we saw, it does about 65, almost 70%, does a lot of damage, not enough to KO, so we're going to see Leaf Blades coming out first. Leaf Blade, I think I said this in the last video, but Leaf Blade always does way more damage than you think it does. So shield's coming out here for the Lickitung, probably only on the first one. We're going to see no shield on the second one. That's still a good chunk of damage, but it allows Lickitung to get a little bit more energy in before throwing Body Slam.
Sounds like Sosa's inner thoughts is being projected here because he said the same thing out loud when he saw Leaf Blade. As Carbink is now met with the Lickitung, those rock throws are going to add up for a ton of energy now on Carbink. The Power Whip's super effective, but Carbink is so tanky. It don't care. It's like, did you throw something? Huh? 20% of my health? I'm cute little Carbink. Don't mind me. As Superior here is being vigorously thrown, the Frenzy Plant trying to make a decoy and gets the shield. Carbink again loaded with that energy off that Lickitung and avoiding the Frost Lashes. Now a Rock Slide is going to go off that tanky Superior. And again, Superior, we have not seen really much of Superior. It's kind of been quiet in this new Timeless Traveler, but it's still going to be hitting hard, and I expect it to make a play still, because Frenzy Plant, like you said, Dr. Pants, that hit still hits like a truck. Grass moves still somehow hit like a truck.
See, in this position here, the alignment there was a little bit iffy. It was a little bit unfortunate for Hippo, but just not going to be able to get enough energy to get past just Frostlass with a shield. Frostlass is... I've said it before, I'll say it again, she's the one shield wonder. If you get Frostlass with a one shield advantage, that thing is unstoppable.
Yeah, we've seen it how many seasons now? Frostlass with a lead and energy and a shield can just be devastating, even in this new Timeless meta. And I think we're seeing other Pokemon starting to show that aspect too. Clodsire is one of those Pokemon as well. If he leads very well with extra energy and goes in the back, it could be very dangerous for teams, but it's not coming in the lead as Medicham sees the Superior here. And look at that, Medicham's just gonna go straight for the Ice Punch as a Frenzy Plant was tapped by Sosaflow like a psycho. Aerial Ace is super effective, but this guy's going loco.
I mean, Frenzy Plant still hits like a truck, so that's enough damage there. And I believe you're going to be able to outpace to get to this Aerial Ace. So 2 moves of whatever kind are going to kill Medicham. So we got to see what shield situation Hippo wants to place. He throws up the first shield, and this allows him to charge up a little more energy before going for that Ice Punch.
Oh, Sosa's giving up the shield. Shield for shield switch seems important, and he gets the Aerial Ace off. And look at this, Hippopotamus is gonna let the Medicham go, and they're gonna each have a shield. As Carbink's just gonna get 1 rock throw in, and now Lickitung meets the Carbink. Both competitors have their switch still Pokemon as it looked like the Rancher was trying to make a catch, and he did on the Power Whip. Oh, that's not gonna do diddly. Oh, okay, still did a lot more than you'd expect.
But the Frostlass coming in and Lurantis not being the tankiest Pokemon, these Powder Snows are doing a lot of damage here. These are adding up, and noticing that no matter what Lurantis throws, it is okay for Frostlass to soak up this energy, as Frostlass is not going to be the one to close this game out with that Carbink in the back. Having a lot of energy, being able to still throw moves, but banking it all on Lickitung here, as Lickitung is a stronger matchup into the Carbink.
Gets the shield and then can get the second Avalanche instead of going for the Shadow Ball nuke. Goes for the Avalanche just to get chip damage down, and now it's Lickitung. Oh my goodness, if this wasn't a tanky matchup here. Rock Slides built up on this Carbink. Can he get more damage down? There is a shield still left on this Lickitung, and Lickitung now going for the Power Whip. We saw it really not do much damage here. Will it be take it to the red? And it does, surprisingly.
Oh, but are we not seeing the Carbink throw a move? Well, oh, Lickitung has a shield still. Oh, I was about to say a Moonblast would 100% do it there, but having that extra shield, that Frostlass will really just pressure the crap out of those shields. Frostlass is insane with that energy advantage there.
Just trying to avoid that Carbink for all it was worth. The Frostlass was able to absolutely build up, especially when you put it on that grass Pokemon in the back. Lurantis came out for everything, and you don't blame it. It had such a great moveset against that Lickitung too, but shield for shield, Lickitung walked away from that setup when it was supposed to be the matchup for there. So maybe if Superpower was thrown, Hippopotamus comes out on top with that Lurantis matchup instead of that Leaf Blade. But oh my goodness, grass charge moves, man. You're like, it's not gonna do much. Half health of Medicham is gone. Like, harder than an Aerial Ace super effective move with the Frenzy Plant. You're like, oh snap, So that Leaf Blade really good pressure there with Lurantis.
Well, good luck to these trainers as they progress into the next round. I believe that means Sostaflo, that's you. You're over there. That means you moving into the next round.
All right, we're getting into the final matchup of our top battlers of round 2 here, and it's gonna be Umbreon into this swap out as Misa76, the Australia sweethearts, bringing back that Mantine action that we loved from the first battle we saw earlier today.
Having that Mantine as the Umbreon, or the Medicham swapping into the Umbreon as the counter swap, and then having that Mantine, that flying type, to be able to come and answer, puts Meezer in a good spot here. Even taking the sidekick, you can see Mantine is so tanky. How the sidekick does, leaves it at about 50%, and the counters don't really add up after that. So being able to throw aerial aces and get that first KO, Medicham is down. We gotta wonder what else is there to fight the Umbreon then.
A Legend Tuna bringing out that Arctibax there, with the Medicham being the only counter for that Mantine. It seemed it was smart to protect this Mantine indeed. But look at how tanky it is. No shields, gets a shield and a Pokemon from her opponent now, as Carbink now sitting real thick and heavy against this Arctibax, with those rock throws being super effective.
And the Rock Slide coming in, this will KO if he lets it through. Lets it through KO. The 2 shields on the Umbreon, even with all this energy on the Swampert, it still needs like 3 Hydro Cannons to KO on top of those 2 shields. So that's like, what, 5 Hydro Cannons there? Or
9 Hydro Cannons, but 1 Earthquake sneaks through and half the health of Umbreon is gone, Dr. Pants. Boom, as the foul play comes off.
I guess the Umbreon's gonna probably just start shielding now. There's no way the Swampert gets enough energy. I mean, Mudshot's insane, but it's not that insane, right?
Not that insane, but what energy did Carbink walk out with? Because I don't think it walked out with any energy. So I think you're right. I think that shields are gonna absolutely start coming out as the first one's gone. The second one's here now too. The Hydro Cannons are off. We might even see Carbink sacrifice. No, gets to the last resort in time with all that energy. Thank you to Snarl, as the last resort from Misa will take the first battle.
There we go. That Umbreon being relatively unchecked. Tuna having the very aggressive swap with Medicham into the Umbreon, but also it kind of being the only, like, I guess, hard counter, or definitely the best answer he had to the Umbreon, and just throwing it out immediately. And unfortunately getting countered by the Mantine. So maybe we'll see a little more of a defensive play from Tuna on this time, as he's on the back foot here.
Yeah, it's really interesting to see that the Medicham was the use as the Mantine came out. We'll see if the Medicham's gonna be used, because Medicham was good against both the Umbreon and the Carbink, and it only saw the Mantine. As Carbink sees the Pelipper, and Medicham comes out for the Carbink again. Medicham is not Rocky. What is that Medicham rocking? I don't think it's rocking. Yeah, Dynamic Punch, rocking Psychic there, as now the Moonblast comes off and gets the shield.
With that shield down, Mantine comes in to start pressuring these aerial aces. 2 shields up, still has Umbreon. As we saw last time, Umbreon was able to just close out a game with 2 shields on top of its just natural bulk there. So we're going to see perhaps the same general idea, getting rid of this Umbreon and just banking it all on the bulk of the rest of the team with the Umbreon and the Carbink.
Oh, look at that. They took the Medicham out with the energy. Tuna's holding it in the back, but the, the Mantine has the health, the Mantine has the energy, and the Mantine's throwing these aerial aces and taking this welcome back Pelipper down to the deep red. Mantine's like, sure, I don't need the shield. You just came back in, as a Hurricane has to be exhausted for the KO of Mantine. 1 rock throw and that Pelipper is down. The Medicham will come through, but it's not a Dynamic Punch Medicham. And so in comes the Arctibax, and now it's going to see the Umbreon. Arctibax, again, this is pre-Timeless Travel, so it only has Avalanche and Dragon Claw. Avalanche is really effective, and if you played some of that Catch Cup at the end of this season, you know that Arctibax with a little bit of energy can get away with murder here with those Dragon Breaths. We'll find out how these battlers play, because Mr. Dr. Pants, a shield has to be used for Umbreon.
Perhaps, or I believe we could see that Medicham was at like 1 HP. So I feel like we're going to see, yeah, all the shields are going to be given to the Carbink here, and I think Rock Throw is going to win this game for Meezer. It's looking like, let's see how much HP that Metacham has. It has half of 1 HP, and it goes down with a Rock Throw.
I totally thought there was more health on that Metacham. I was like, oh, Tuna's got this on lock. He's figured it out. He can make it. No, with 2 shields. Did Meezer like walk away with 4 shields? Did she walk off the battlefield with like 4 shields in that matchup?
Just about. At least 3.5 shields. At least 3.5.
I'm gonna tell you right now, out of everybody that went 2-0, she's the one I don't want to see. She is so scary. Like that play, right? Oh, the whole gameplay. You saw she was in complete control. She called everything out to the T. She knew what she was doing. She read the line beautifully. Tuna tried. You could tell he tried. But with the Metacham being the only answer to a Carbink and an Umbreon, Meezer just had complete control of that entire game. So that was a great play by her, a great team build by her. And I mean, Arctibax looks so, it's so exciting and fun to play with. But yeah, it was almost there in this matchup.
Arctibax just not finding quite the right matchup. A little bit hard to play Arctibax, just with that team comp having the super bulky Umbreon, and then every single game you see the Carbink, and that just makes it very hard for the Arctibax to find a good matchup. Didn't get to play against like the Mantine, I think was probably where it wants to be. Those avalanches, with the amount of damage that it just Arctibax does, those avalanches start to pressure the Mantine a bit, and Mantine not having anything super effective to throw back, unlike the Carbink. So unfortunate for Tuna going out there, but Meezer entirely in control, moving on to the next round with, I believe, is that 2-0 now?
Yes, Meezer 2-0. So we have 4 2-0s going into the 3rd round. EV2E, Sosa Flow, Vroom Vroom Pow, and Meezer 76. We'll find out in the next video in round 3 whether these 4 battlers can keep on their journey and win this tournament 4-0, or if we're gonna get some losses here, because somebody's got to lose in the top. But if they even it out in the later matchups, that could end up being a great victory for them with these 3-0 sweeps that we saw earlier tonight. So we'll have to keep track of the wins and losses here in this round 3 and 4 of this in-house tournament. Miss Stockspants, are you excited about this in-house tournament? Are you getting ready for some upsets here?
I'm ready. I want to see more. I want to see some like Mantine versus Superior. One of those matchups where it like Frenzy Plant does so much damage that even though it's neutral, it still starts to pressure that flying water type. So I think we're going to see some of that coming up next, just based off, there's a lot of Mantine play today. And Mantine did well today, and so did Superior, so I'm thinking we're going to see some of that next.
I'll be on the lookout. Well, I'll be on the lookout for that Mantine Superior play in the future rounds. Thank you all for watching this Antimatter in-house tournament that we are all having with the new team, getting to know each other as battlers, as we are just enjoying our time here in Antimatter before the new season, the new year begins, and we give you tons new amazing content. Be sure to like and subscribe now and get on to what is going on, because we are going to be popping out videos for round 3 and 4 very shortly, and then give you an idea of what's coming in the future for Antimatter Gaming.